Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here. Today we're going to be doing a build your own palette inspired by this Sultry palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This has been discontinued and I really like to try to do palettes inspired by discontinued palettes, especially because I posted an Instagram picture featuring this Sultry palette and a lot of people were saying that they were really sad that they missed out on this one. So we are going to create our own color story using a whole bunch of my ColourPop single shadows. Someday I'll do an entire single shadow collection video for you, but today we're just going to be creating a color story inspired by this Sultry palette. Now the Sultry is a 14 pan palette. I'm going to be doing one of my beloved 12 pan palettes. So I've already decided that I'm probably either going to skip out on the matte off-white or the matte black. Those are pretty standard shades. I don't really need either or both of them, frankly, but there are also 3 bronzy shimmers. So I'll probably drop the matte black. I just don't tend to use those very often, but if you do love to use the matte black, then you can always drop this matte creamy shade too. And then we'll probably only do 2 bronze shimmers instead of the 3 that are in this palette. That way we can size it down to a 12 pan. Let's just dig into these shades. We'll start swatching and just getting a feel for what kind of shades we need to put into the palette. I have all of my singles sorted by color family, so that does make it easier for me to find certain shades when I am curating these little palettes. Makes it a lot easier for me. So I'm pretty sure that this is the shade I'm looking for. Just to be sure, we'll do a quick swatch. It's not really necessary, they're just creamy matte shades, but yeah, this is definitely what I want. This one is Hear Me Out from ColourPop. That was easy. Next I'm going to be looking for something to stand in for this ABH shade Pearl. Gorgeous bright metallic to champagne. This one might be a little better. That one's closer, still a little bit yellowy though. Let's see what else we got. I'm gonna try this one called Liar Liar and see if that's any better. Closer shade wise, can we build that up to be a little bit brighter? Ooh, I think that's gonna be it. At least for now. This one's a little bit more pink, but that's okay. Next we have this gold shade called Steampunk. This is like an antique gold. It's really, really pretty. Ooh, these ABH shimmers are so bright. They're really, really nice. My first thought was this shade called 20 something, but this might be too light. Doesn't quite have that antique gold look. Where's Night Show? Ooh, let's try this one. This one's Board Shorts. Let's see how Board Shorts looks. I think Board Shorts might be too coppery. That's closer though. This whole time I've been looking for Night Show and it's right here. Okay, let's see if this one's closer. It's a little bit more yellowy, but it's not bad. How far off that one is? Oh yeah, that's too peach. Okay, let's go with Night Show for now. Can always tweak if we need to. Next we have the shade called Rose Quartz. Oh, that is gorgeous. Alright, let's try... What was that one I just did? Hey, that's not too shabby. Let's try this one. Too light. Oh yeah, definitely too peach. That first one isn't terrible. I mean, I'm pulling this shade called The Vibes. This might be a good match. Yeah, too coppery. Let's try Up and Atom. Oh yeah, again, too coppery. Ooh, getting closer. These two are pretty close. I think I'm going with that one. Upon a Star. Next we have the shade Ember. This is a deep brown and more of a cool tone brown. Let's see. Is this too light? Wait, that would have been a good one for Rose Quartz. Did I try that? I'm changing my mind. Switching this out. I'm going with Wing Women. I know it doesn't look the same in the pan. Okay, so we need a deep cool toned brown. It's a little bit darker, not terrible. Well, let's go back to board shorts and see how that looks. Oh yeah, too warm. Okay, I think we're gonna have to go with Boxer, that first one that I swatched. Now we've got to look for this matte coral shade. This is the one pop of color really in the palette. So that one's called Bloom. We'll go into this really corally orange palette. Sure, we'll be able to find something. I immediately want to pull Making Moves. I think this is going to be the right match, but we won't know until we swatch. I mean, it's hardly going to get better than that. This ColourPop matte is actually better performing than the ABH one. Let's go to this shade called Birch. Nice mid-tone matte brown. Hopefully this won't be too hard to find. Let's try Wake Up Call from ColourPop. Ooh, a little bit pinkier. Close though. Let's go over to this shade called Pretty Please from ColourPop. Ooh, a little too gray, but I have a feeling this will be nice in the palette. This may be a good stand-in for this shade called Twig. Let's just swatch it while we're here. Close in tone, Twig's a little deeper, but those are not shabby. I'm gonna pull this shade called Pretty Please to go in place of Twig. Still gotta find something for Birch though. Let's try, let me swatch it so you can actually see it. Wow, that's actually perfect. That is Bel Air. I love the shade Bel Air. Use it all the time. Now, I want to combine these two, so I'm going to swatch both Cinder and Teak. We're going to find something that's just similar to both of these. I think that Teak may actually be really, really close to this Boxer that we pulled earlier. Oh yeah, those are like the exact same shade. Alright, well in that case, let's have Boxer in place of Teak. We'll use something to stand in between Ember and Cinder. See, this is why I like to show the process, because it's not just a one-for-one. You really have to kind of go through and, you know, work it out. There's a little problem solving and creativity that goes into it for sure. So we are gonna pick a shade that's kind of standing in for both of these. Too light. Okay, I'm switching out my rose quartz. I know this is so confusing, I'm sorry. Let's do that instead. See, it's a process, people. It's a process. Let's see if we can find anything over here. This is not an easy palette to dupe. I thought it would be way easier than it actually is. Let's try this shade, Board Shorts. It's a little bit warmer than these two, a little bit more yellow. Whoa, that's pretty close. It's pretty close to this one. That's Wing Women. Put that here. Okay, so we need a dark matte brown, a silver, and a gray. The mattes, some of the mattes are very lackluster in this Sultry palette. I'm gonna be honest with you. So for this dark brown matte, I either want to use Cloud 9 or this one called Roundhouse. Both pretty close. It's this one called Roundhouse. Now for the silver shade, I'm gonna try this one called Snake Eyes. Yeah, Snake Eyes is a little bit lighter, a little bit warmer, but I think the other silver that I have is too dark. Shade-wise, pretty close, it's just the finish is wrong. Some sacrifices might have to be made though, although this gray is not terrible. Again, this gray is warmer, but not terrible. Okay, for this silver, I want to try a shade that's a bit more purple-based, but it is also darker and potentially more interesting than the ABH shade. Alright, so that's the choice we have to make. So we have Mind Tricks. Here's the actual shade, Cyborg, or Snake Eyes. Yeah, we're gonna have to go with Snake Eyes. It's not perfect, but hey, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. It's all down to this gray called Slate. The question is, do we go with something that's a similar tone but a little bit warmer? Yeah, that might have to be what we go with. I know it looks more brownish. That one's called Take the Lead. the shade called Chic Happens. It's more purpley. Oh yeah, that's not it. Or if we're feeling really crazy, we can use this metallic shade. I think I'm gonna have to go with Take the Lead. It's not, again, not a perfect match, but like I said, you could always ditch the matte cream shade and go for the matte black instead. Or if you're feeling like any of these are, you know, not your favorite, not your vibe, or too similar, you can add the matte black in too. So let's go to a little side by side and see how we did and if there's anything we need to tweak. Here is the final finished BYOP with all the shade names. If you're interested in recording any of the names of these shadows, now's the time to pause and take a screenshot or write down any of these color names you're interested in. So here are the swatches. This is the Sultry palette, and then this is my curated palette. You know, they're not exactly dead on perfect, but they're pretty darn close. You could definitely get a lot of really, really similar looks. I know that they're not identical, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. At the end of the day, the point of my little BYOP videos isn't necessarily to create an exact dupe, but really just to encourage you to use what you already have in your collection. Even if you don't have these exact singles, you can use the same process to go through any eyeshadows that you have, even pulling from palettes, curating a new color scheme with what you already have, and really just having fun playing with your makeup, enjoying it. I really find this process to be fun and relaxing, so thank you for hanging out with me and just spending a little time playing with some makeup with me. I hope you enjoyed this. I really hope that you found it helpful and it encouraged you to go and play with the things you already have. I always love to hear what you guys think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts on this palette, on this process, on the Sultry palette, anything and everything down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! So I don't have any bloopers or anything funny at all for this video, but it felt weird to not end by just a little extra saying I love your face for everybody who watches to the end. I really, really, really love your face. Okay, bye!